Okay, here we are back again. This is the client test number 2. We are got a complete 1920 by 1080 full HD, and I currently have the client up. And right now, when I start it, I start with 0 parsers. This is so I can do a bit of testing. It's all switchable on the command line. So we attach to various processes and we start the Earth. Because I am doing this in debug mode, and there's no processor, there's no parser running. There are no items to show on the planet yet. So I have a backlog, and it's growing, of 3,169 or so, 70-something entries that are coming in. So what we have is live data. There is no test data here. So let's go ahead and fire up a set of parsers. I'll let it go slowly so you can see it better. We'll add 1 parser. The system, as you can see up at the top here, has 8 cores, and by default the system says, would you like to have 1 core for each? And that's actually how it starts by default. On the command line, again, you can go ahead and tell it whatever you like. In fact, if I was to do that and to check on the command line, you would see right here that I have parser 0. So I've added some command line switches that can help with debugging and making the system run just the way you want it to run. So anyway, let's go ahead and start our single parser. And you can see the events are starting to flow in. And let's go ahead and make our system full screen. And I'll just back up enough so that we can see the Earth. And my location is currently in Connecticut. Up here at the top, if you notice, I'm just now putting the last touches on the, in this particular case, the top connected countries. So that will fill in with, and it won't be this color, it'll be a nice black background and such, transparent cells, and it will list the country names, their flags and such, and how many hits that they have. So let's take a look here as I think our location's coming by. This is us right here, and you can see as the connections come in, they are solid. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to rotate this around a little better so you can see it as the world rotates. You can see that all the connections are coming from this one location, and over time, as I had originally described, you see the connections becoming more and more transparent and then finally dropping. And for debugging, I keep track of how many connections there are at any one point in time. So this is just the first look at the geodetic data operating properly. The locations are all determined from IP address. So the IP address tells us where the connections are from, and then these are all outbound connections. The outbound connections then are plotted coming from the source. As you can see. So we can move this around a little bit. There's our world upside down. Trying to let you see as many of these as possible. Some connections going into Europe. I think we're all caught up now. Let's take a peek. Yep, we're all caught up. The backlog is now 0, and what we're going to see from here on is going to be connections that are coming in live. I can, let's see, I can go ahead and make some connections to some places. I've just went to some various countries here, and you can see here's Brazil, and there's all the connections going to Brazil. You see the Brazil icon and the flag. And then as time goes, they will fade and vanish. And there you go. So that is just a quick look at how the system currently looks for its the graphics. And a lot of what you see is going to be smoothed out. There's a slight bit of jerkiness. The system is drawing one line at a time, going in and doing all the checks, database lookups, one line at a time. I'll smooth all that out. And that's it. Again, it was all at full resolution. We're at, what, 70 frames per second? So things just look nice and smooth. Too bad there's not a screen grabber on the market that can capture how smooth this is. But there you go.